How's it going, Cade? Eva La Renaissance. Hello. Hello, Jeb Jam. How's it going, Cadno? Sorry I'm late, guys. I wound up getting put behind due to work. Just throwing this link out to my social medias. All the goofy little places I frequent. All right. So hopefully all the music is still leveled out and everything to where you guys aren't having any trouble with it. I'll get started here in a moment. And hopefully this thing won't die in the middle of the stream either. I know it's been doing that the last couple times. Where did I put... Oh, I kept it up here. See here. Well, tell Roan I appreciate the heads up. Wasn't aware you two were friends. See here. I'll make sure I'm not breaking the rules here. Okay, good. Ah, well, I'm glad you started talking chat either way, Jeb Jam. So, I know usually I draw something Thundercat related here, but I was wondering if you guys would mind if I worked on something else instead. Let me know what you think real quick before we get started. Alright, now I'm going to do what I want. So, let's see here. Where did I put it? Is it? Yes. Okay, so, I plan on finishing the review I started, like, almost 2 years ago. Actually, just about 2 years ago. On Rurouni Kenshin, and I want to actually do a decent thumbnail for it this time. Oh, for the love of Pete, did this really just do that to me? It did. Fantastic. Fantastic. I'm going to see if I can get this fixed. If not, we'll have to wait a minute here because my monitor decided that it didn't need to register the fact that this is a separate tablet. Oh, good. Got it to work. I think. One moment and I'll find out for sure. Mijumaru! Glad to see ya! I have no idea if that's working. Gonna go ahead and guess no. So I'm gonna have to do the services again, find out what's going on here. Hateful, don't be a pizza cutter. Lest I crush you. Right, so let's see if that did the work. It did not. I'm still having functionality problems. I expected that to happen when I got older. Alright. That is a tilt sensitivity. I don't know what half this is. That's part of my problem. If you give me a minute, I'll show you, Mijumaru. I'm trying to figure out why the pressure sensitivity is not working right now. I wonder if I shut it off and shut it back on. Boom, boom. See if that works. Nope. This is why I like having time beforehand to figure out if there's a problem like this. But no, I didn't get that this time. Try closing it out and do not save. I don't know what's going on, guys. I can't get the pressure sensitivity here. Oh, I'm glad you looked at the channel. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to figure out why this thing is not doing what it's supposed to. It's supposed to give me a pressure sensitivity here. I'm sure layman understands what I'm talking about. I'm just going to close out this thing and restart it and hope it works. Well, the thing is, Cade, you got to expand more than just doing one thing. Recalibration feature. Thing is, I don't think it is. Sometimes it's just it just doesn't register things properly. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. So we're gonna see if it will this time. There we go. Alright, so here's what I'm working on. Since I want to finish doing the last 2 seasons of Rurouni Kenshin before I move on to Brave Star and SWAT Cats, I want to delve into the second season, since I covered the first about a year or so ago. And because I want to make custom thumbnails, that's what I'm working on here. Yes, Mijumaru, the person who ran that channel, at least last time I looked at it, which was quite some time ago, honestly, was a very hardcore, old-school fan of He-Man. Go ahead and pull in my references here. There we go. Custom... Yeah, I don't... You know, I don't mind the idea of doing commissions. The problem is nobody wants them from me. Which I guess is okay. Everybody has their own decisions and choices. Yeah, the person who initially ran that website or that YouTube channel is the person who gave his blessing to the She-Ra script and storyboards and all that for the new show. Hello, Bubblegum. Do a little bit of work here. Give him a more defined brow here. Well, the person who headed the channel is a long time person in the Motu and Pop community, James Talk. So, number one, the man has a plethora of knowledge about the franchise in general. Matter of fact, the man was able to actually give me the information I need concerning... What's the word I'm looking for? The budget of the original She-Ra. So he has a lot of very detailed information. He's always a pleasure to talk to. I'm supposed to be having an interview with him on my channel here sometime this coming month. Pull out my Shishio reference here too. There we go. Yep, anime. In the BTS videos. You're going to have to refresh my memory on the BTS. Behind the scenes, yes, he is. Yes, he is. How hard is commission? I don't know. Well, thankfully, Layman, I do have, in a way, multiple monitors. I've got my main monitor up here that nobody can see, and the other monitor is actually my Cintiq. I have a 12WX that I use. I should probably, you know, invest in a new one, but that's a future Thomas problem. Anime is freedom when it comes to drawing. It varies. It varies quite a bit, actually, depending on what exactly your character is. Yeah, Deception of a Generation is what I'm covering currently on the channel as a sort of side thing. And, how do I put this? Well-intentioned people, I think, but horribly incorrect people. Isn't that a book? You read the whole book. We talking about Deception of a Generation, or are we talking about Rurouni Kenshin? I'm afraid I've gotten lost in the conversation here. Oh, no. Deception of a Generation is actually a television special. It was based on a book that the main guy, Phil Phillips, wrote called Turmoil in a Toy Box. But Deception of a Generation itself is a video series. Oddly enough, he actually wrote several books covering the same doggone topic. Deception of a Generation was a TV special, but then there was Turmoil in a Toy Box, Turmoil in a Toy Box Part 2, Saturday Morning Mind Control, a whole slew of garbage. Of course, none of it really scripturally based. You know, why would it be? The book, if you want to read the book, I believe it's on Amazon for $2 right now. And it's a riot. But you got to keep in mind, people took that very seriously back in the 80s. Heck, when I moved to Texas back in 2002, heck, even then I was running into preachers that would talk about how they totally saw, you know, possessed Cabbage Patch Kid dolls, and they were totally of the devil, and you asked them a little bit deeper information, and they could never give it to you. I heard from a friend of a friend of a friend. Well, what was that person's source? Well, I don't know. But you have to have faith, okay? All right. Can you hear me? Hello. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm waiting for the music to reset itself. I don't know what's going on with it right now. I don't know why it does that. Every time I'm like 30 minutes into this blasted stream, it kills itself. And it starts back up. Hate it. Hate it so much. Let's see here. Okay, that's just taking too long to try to do. Wait, let me see if I can pull it up like this. Ooh. Pizza should be here soon. Let me guess. It's all really goofy now, and it's probably... Okay. Can people hear me? Am I alive out here? My internet is just absolute garbage. Kill anybody wanting to watch these dumb things. Are you done disconnecting and reconnecting now? Can I please continue? Alright. Is anybody still out there? Okay, thank God. This is ridiculous. I don't know what goes on with my internet. I don't have these problems until I start streaming. Of course, I don't know enough about this stuff to even troubleshoot it to figure out what the problem could be. It's vexing. Alright, so what do you guys want to talk about? Other than the fact that my internet is clearly garbage. I like any pizza so long as it does not have anchovies on it. Yes, I even like the dreaded pineapple pizza. As long as it doesn't have ham. I don't like ham. Let's see here. Maybe more neutral expression. Oh, why can't you eat pineapples, Mijumaru? There we go. Aw, I'm very sorry to hear that. Pineapples are tasty. I'll change things up just a little bit on this. Red apples, huh? Sure, I lost a lot. Oh, 8 people watching. That's impressive. I figured everybody would have bailed after all this garbage. Jeremy, good to see you, my dude. You just missed all the tentacle problems. Aren't you lucky? Hold on. They're supposed to call me. Okay. Okay. What's with me being late tonight is the fact that I was at work, and then while I was out doing my job, the vehicle I was in decided it would get a shredded tire. Had a blowout. So I called work. Nobody answered. Called my boss. Nobody answered. So that went back and forth for about an hour. And then when I was finally able to get a hold of somebody, they gave me a number to call. And I waited on the tire repair person to come out for 2 hours. So that's why I started late. Oh, it sucked. It sucked. But I'm paid by the hour, so it sucks a little less. More so, I was irritated because I knew I'd be late for the stream. Don't you do? Good. So, Jeremy, what did you think of the first 5 episodes of Thundercats? And what is that note? Best cats. Adorable. And then all the other ships are destroyed. Yep, Lionel wakes up. Jaga tells him he has to take the bad with the good to wake him up so he could see what was going on. Well, I'd imagine because the mutants are never really too well defined. The only interaction we see with Plundarians in general are the little bit that we see from Slide's group and what we see from Ratilla, Rataro, and that's about it. And that's not till later in the show. I believe at that point in the series what they were trying to allude to is that most interplanetary aggression was at a standstill. There wasn't much going on. That's why it was a bit of a surprise when they attacked out of nowhere. You find out later on that that wasn't even something... let's just say that wasn't exactly something the mutant army planned on. I actually have a video that answers that, Jeremy. No, Mijumaru. Actually, the Wily twins aren't Munchkin cats. They're technically wild cats. Specifically, I believe they're European wild cats. Again, I actually did a video on that, talking about what type of cats the Thundercats are. It's like you guys don't watch my content. That would be Thundercats Thunder Facts. Can't remember the exact name of the title, but it's in there. Inherently small? No. The implication is they would get bigger as they got older, because while some people may say, well, because they're smaller cats, that's why they're smaller than everybody else. A lynx is not much bigger than a house cat, and yet Lynxo is the same size as everybody else.
Hi, welcome to
Hold on, guys. I gotta make a phone call. Oh, never mind. People don't like him because they look back at him like with childhood whimsy. They don't address what his purpose was as an adult would. Most of the people who tend to look back on Thundercats, believe it or not, they do it not as having fresh eyes on the series. They do it as a child would, right? Well, I liked this thing when I was a kid, and I didn't like Snarf, so he's annoying. They don't think about it in the respect that an adult would. Yeah, Snarf is very empathetic. He understands exactly how kids think and act. There's one episode, it's called Mongor, where the Wily twins accidentally free a demonic entity. This is a physical embodiment of fear. And when they go to tell the Thundercats, they get really mad. All the adults get really mad. And Snarf winds up telling them all to shut up, explaining, you want these kids to come to you when there's a problem, but when they come to you, all you're doing is yelling at them. You're not going to make them want to trust you. That's a very important thing. Kids got to be able to trust the parental or authority figures in their life, and if all that's going to happen is they're going to get yelled at, they're not going to trust them. And I'm going to keep this stream going for probably about 45 minutes, so I'm not taking up too much time, even though I started late. I wish there was a better way to tell people if I'm running late or what's going on with streams, but unfortunately I don't have the clipboard thing that YouTube used to give people. Or whatever the thing was called. Was he human? According to the Wildstorm comics, yes, he was an Egyptian sim priest by the name of Wahanka. And he lusted after the pharaoh's power, so he made a deal, metaphorically of course, or directly, I guess you could see it as either way, with the devil, to give him power to overthrow Pharaoh. No, he was never a Thundercat. But believe it or not, in 2007, when there was a movie planned, the script got leaked early, and in the script, it was actually shown in that version of the movie that was originally planned that Mum-Ra was actually Groon, which whew, people didn't like that. I don't blame them. I don't like the idea either. Yay, 11 viewers. They can all tell me my art's garbage, and I'll agree with them. That's the problem. I see it clearly now. Well, Jeremy, according to show canon, allegedly his pyramid revealed to him the Thundercats and all their power and all that. However, I personally believe that the entire reason Mumra knows about the Thundercats is due to Groon. I'll be right back. That would be funny. Okay. Back to your questions here. Mumra didn't know Jaga on a personal level, but he knew of Jaga's existence. Now, the reason why I personally theorize that Groon informed Mumra is in the end of the first season into the second one, when... Actually, no, it was in the second season, actually. When Groon appears before Mumra, there is no exchange of, who are you, what's your deal? It's always, it was, Mumra, what do you want? So they clearly have a familiarity with each other. Neko boy, yep, Rurouni Kenshin. Because Jeremy, he thought that he could somehow find a way to bend the sword to his will. I mean, he found out later on, you know, that ain't happening. And that's when he changed course from, I want to get the Sword of Omens, to, you know what, I just want to wipe the Thundercats out completely. Screw all this. Let's see here. Want to resize some of this. Mikoto Shishio's got a big old head. Well, that and taking the sword away from them just in general kind of removes their only real defense against Mumra. Hey, Neko boy, you see that? You see that sketch I did of you? There we go. I did a sketch of your avatar there. I put it on Twitter, but I think you were like either at a convention or something, so you may not have seen it. I did it in a very specific style, and I said, "Behold, Neko Boy is now the shonen protagonist he always knew he could be." You know, I still don't to this day know who actually sang the theme song. There we go. I think the problem with trying to tie Mum-Ra directly to the Thundercats is it kind of removes a lot of the air of mysticism and having an extremely foreign enemy. Or I guess the old saying is, you know, the devil you know. It's a lot easier to deal with than the devil you don't know. The 80s actually had a really interesting mix of just really good music when it came to their cartoons. I mean, it could be an absolute garbage cartoon and still have a really kicking soundtrack. It's really wild how that all worked out. Of course, part of that's because we kind of borrowed from the Japanese and that, and the Japanese have always been really crazy about their intros. If you don't believe me on how pumped and wild those intros can get, you need to go watch Gao Gaigar. I think the problem I'd have with making a video on that is I'd have a harder time finding evidence and citations for what I'm doing. And if you haven't noticed, I like making sure I have absolute evidence before I say something. Hello, Cade. Glad to see you returned. Well, the thing is, when you actually read the Thundercats book, Hear the Roar, they never, in the actual show, they never tried to delve into Mum-Ra. And they did that intentionally. They did it because they wanted it to just be a villain with an air of mystery that the Thundercats never had a tie to. They wanted him to unquestionably be an external threat. Honestly, if anything, I really wish they would have done more with Groon in the original series. Scary Harpy, glad to see you back. Ah, by all means, Jeremy, I would love to hear that answer. What is it that He-Man could offer that other shows can't? Absolutely, Cat, no fear of the unknown. Mum-Ra was an unknown unknown. The 2011 version of Groon was okay, mostly because, I mean, you know, it's Clancy Brown. How could it not be? Yeah, Bernard Hoffer did do the musical scores, but again, you know, like you're saying there, Allspark, we don't know. We have no clue. Oh, really? Jeremy, in the form of video, tell me. You have piqued my interest, sir. Right? Renaissance, that blows my mind that Groon, Mr. Krabs, and the Kurgan from Highlander are all the same dude. And Lex Luthor. That's just insane. To me, at least. Let's see here. Doggone it. You couldn't help yourself, could you, Jeremy? What information do you want on Links, okay? And yes, Renaissance, Lex Luthor from the Justice League and Batman or Superman animated series in the early 2000s. Ah, so tell me what you think about the 2000X He-Man, Allspark. I'm curious about your thoughts. Okay, any information. He's a lynx, or based on a lynx. In the original show, he was voiced by Bob McFadden, the same gentleman who did Snarf and Slythe and Groon. In the second season of the 2011 show, Slythe was going to kill and eat him. Dark, I know, but still what happened. And he was blind completely. He was blinded on Thundera while they tried to escape in the original show by some noxious fumes emanating from the core of the planet. And because of that, he has other heightened senses. And even though he is a blind old man, he can whoop the crap out of most people. Like, when I'm his age, I hope I have that jacked of a physique. I don't know what is these old Thunderians, but man, they are jacked. Yay, 13 viewers to see my terrible art. I did like the second season of the 2011 or 2000X He-Man very much. Very much. Yes, Top is blind, Cade. Linkso's blindness was a bit different. He didn't have the extrasensories in the same way Toph does. His extrasensories were sometimes a little more emotional. Let's see here. Kyoto. There we go. Yes, Tanya Bloomstone. It is Rurouni Kenshin. What'd you figure out, Allspark? Yes. By all means, continue. The purples. Oh, the purples. They'll cut you, though. Well, He-Man in the original show, I don't recall very often it even being brought up about the possibility of He-Man having an alternate identity. There was a hint, though, that Queen Marlena was well aware of who He-Man actually was, but that's speculation. And I agree that it is a problem and a hurdle. I don't think it can really be overcome in terms of He-Man story fiction if you want him to be both Prince Adam and He-Man. Very bizarre thing. Glad you like it, Neko Boy. I couldn't help myself. I'm like, I need to do this. I need to make him Bishono pretty. Really rough sketch here because I'm just going to be doing the outline for background. Neko Boy found something both beautiful and terrifying, mostly terrifying. That reminds me, Neko Boy, did I ever share with you my handsome Squidward Inuyasha?